Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone. Are you ready to have an inspired and empowered life? If you are ready to have an inspired and empowered life, write yes in the chat room. And so today we are going to be talking about how to create an inspired and empowered life. Join me, Nanci Deutsch, licensed clinical social worker and intuitive breakthrough expert, as I share 3 secrets and strategies, principles of living an inspired and empowered life, and discover the number 1 mistake that you can make that would keep you from a life you love. And I look forward to connecting with you and hearing your questions and comments in the chat room. I want to know what you're thinking, and I am so excited to be here today and to be able to connect with you. Now, during the show, if there's any questions that you have or any comments, please type them into the chat room because I want to hear from you. This is what makes me excited to be able to connect with you more deeply and help you to live an inspired and empowered life. Together, we'll help you create a life you love. So, as I said, 3 principles to create that inspired and empowered life. And I am so grateful that I am able to be living, to be doing this TV show and the radio show, and to be living a life of my dreams. I'm grateful to have my intuitive abilities where I combine my counseling and my coaching intuitive abilities. I've been a licensed clinical social worker for over 30 years. And when I'm working with clients, I'm able to tap into those intuitive abilities. And that's what I want to share with you today. But it wasn't always this way for me. For many years, I lived with anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And I would be terrified of waking up in the morning and getting out of bed. I just felt so badly. The trauma from my childhood continued with me into my adulthood. And then one day, I decided, with the help of my guidance, my intuition, which is what I love to teach and talk about, I was guided to go with my friend to Belize, country in Central America. And we went to Belize, and it was to celebrate her birthday in March of 2020. And we had an amazing time in Belize, but we kept hearing all the things that were going on in the United States. And what was happening was COVID had begun. If we had waited one more week, we would have not been able to go. And intuition guided us to go when we did. And we were even thinking of staying in Belize, but we decided we better come home because we didn't want to get locked out of the country. So we came home and it was really crazy here. It was everybody, and I think you can remember what it was like when COVID just started for you here in whether in the States, in Canada, or wherever you are in the world. And what happened was there was so much chaos and craziness. But what was happening for me is I took that energy and I went deeper into myself. And what I was finding was that I was able to stay calmer and more centered and following my intuition every step of the way in order for me to be guided and navigate through COVID. And what ended up happening was I started feeling safer and more secure. And my friend and I, we started a prayer group. And we ended up being able to connect with community on Zoom that we weren't able to before. And I started doing more speaking on Zoom and all my counseling sessions, coaching sessions, everything switched to Zoom, which for me worked. And it's actually enabled me to take my work to a whole new level. And I would not have been able to do this a few years ago. But because of all the work that I have done, I now am able to be here with you to help you learn how to live an inspired and empowered life. And I have someone in the chat room says, there you are. Okay, we couldn't chat on YouTube. So excited to be here, Nanci. Thank you, Sandy. So glad. Thank you, Sandy. Yay! So glad you're here. I know we're all learning. This is my first show, and so we're going to all be learning together. Some of you may have already been doing this, and some of you it may be new, but for me, it's new. For a lot of my friends, it's new. For a lot of my clients and the people, and I am looking forward to connecting with you more. So again, any questions, comments, please type them in the chat room if you can figure it out. And I look forward to connecting with you more. So the first principle of how to create an inspired and empowered life is, can anybody guess? It's a word that I probably said a few times during my story. It's connection. Connection is huge. It's learning to be able to make that deeper connection to yourself. So, what does that really mean? It means being able to connect to your body and learning how to feel, learning how to really connect and feel your body, feel more grounded and centered. And Mackenzie has typed in, Nanci is such an awesome intuitive guide. So excited to learn these principles. Connection is so important. Thank you, Mackenzie. Yay! So glad you're all here. So connection and being grounded and centered. So I am going to give you an example of what it feels like to be grounded and centered. And I hope that you'll be able to experience it with me. Sandy says, I'm excited to be here with you all. I'm excited you're here, Sandy. Thank you for coming. So everybody take a deep breath. This is going to be good for me too. So I'm glad to be doing this with you. Allie, so excited to be here too. I love Nanci. She's amazing. Thank you. All right, everybody breathe. Breathe in. Take a deep breath in, and on the out breath, just letting go of stress and tension, any worries and concerns. And take another deep breath in. And on the out breath, letting go and releasing stress and tension and any worries and concerns. Now remember, if you're driving now, you can always come back to the podcast, or you can see this on YouTube live. YouTube, not live, but YouTube. And W4WN is Talk 4 Radio, and W4WN on the TV and the radio. So feeling your breath, coming back to you, and just feeling your breath. And also what you want to do when you're breathing in is when you take a deep breath in, belly breathing. It's using your diaphragm to help you make more of that grounded connection. So what that means is, and what I actually do, you can't really see me with my hands on my belly, but if you want, put your hands on your belly. And when you breathe in, you're going to breathe in and your belly is going to go out. So that's diaphragm breathing. And when you breathe in, your belly goes out. And when you breathe out and exhale, your belly goes in. And you want a longer exhalation. And what you're going to notice as you do that is your whole body and your nervous system calms down, and allowing yourself to feel more connected with yourself. And Annette says, hi, you look beautiful. Thank you, Annette. So glad you're here. I'm so grateful to all of you that are joining me, and I'm so looking forward to connecting with you more. See, there's that word again, connection, all about connection. And so what I really want to know is, what were you able to do that? Were you able to feel more grounded? And the other thing that you can do is you take your breath and you also feel your feet. That's what I love to do. I live upstairs, and one of the things that I do that is really, really important before I go down the steps is I'm taking a deep breath in and feeling my feet. And then I walk down the steps, because then I know I'm in my body. That's being connected. And it's really important when you want to create that inspired and empowered life to feel more connected. And so what I really want to know, how was that for you? Were you able to? Do you feel like you needed to do more breathing? Tell me about how it was for you in terms of the being able to feel more connected. So that is one of the first techniques that I can share with you, and it is a crucial one. Breathing and connection and grounding is huge, because we can't be living an inspired and empowered life if we're in our head. And one of the things that I really teach people is to be able to feel more connected with their body and come out of the head. Now, the way that you know that is you know that when you're feeling your breath, when you're feeling your feet. If you are thinking, I call it thinking mode, thinking. If you're in thinking mode and in your head, you're not connected. You're either in the past or the future. It's when you come into present time that you're connected. And that's also the time when you can feel more connected with your intuition, with your feelings, your body. It's so important to be connected with your feelings. And when you feel And it's really important to learn how to let go of the feelings that don't work and be able to allow yourself to connect with whatever feeling it is you're having. And sometimes it's not always going to be easy or pretty or fun. I'm going to tell you, a few days ago, I was really stuck in a lot of feelings. And I was deep in, first of all, I was really nervous. This is my first show, and I'm excited to be here, but I was also really nervous. Was I going to be good enough? Was it going to be fine? Was I going to get it right? Was I going to get all the video, everything? There's a lot to do when you're putting on a TV show. You've got the video, you've got the sound, then you've got the information. And I wanted to be perfect. But what I realized is that there is no perfection. And so I had to process through the fear. And there was also grief coming up. So I had to allow myself to feel the grief. And it's really important when you're allowing yourself to be in your journey and know that that's what this is. It's not a destination, it's a journey. And there's always going to be more experiences, more wonderful things that happen on your way as you are living your inspired and empowered life. And learning how to make that connection to your feelings and being able to feel the fear and the anger. Yes, anger too. And again, all of this is being able to feel the feelings in healthy, appropriate ways. So what that means is I don't understand why my phone is doing that, but I hope that helps you get more deeply into whatever's going on. I got a little distracted, so please excuse my phone. Anyway, being able to feel your feelings and let go of the fear, the anger, the grief, shame, and guilt, the top 5 lower vibration emotions, to be able to move into emotions where you feel more inspired and empowered and more filled with peace and love and joy. And that's what I was talking about in my story in the beginning, was that no matter what is going on around you, when you're feeling more connected and you are able to release those other feelings, then you can move into the feelings of peace and love and joy. And that's what this is about. That's what this is about. And Sandy says, I feel super connected. I am so glad. Thank you. I really want to hear what everybody else is saying, if they're feeling connected and want to be able to know, be able to see. I am learning how to be able. So it's being able to know how to connect with your feelings. And sometimes it just means to feel and to be able to allow yourself to experience, even if it's hard, and not being in judgment of our feelings, because so often we judge. Many of us learned that it wasn't okay to feel your feelings. And I'm going to share with you, it's the most important thing that you can learn to do, because it's through our feelings, it's what makes us human. And in order to get to inspired and empowered, in order to get to peace and love and joy, it's learning to be able to feel I'm so glad to hear my feelings will help. Hey, Jana, thank you for letting me know. Yay. Was super stressed 15 minutes ago. Feel calmer. Yay, Cindy. So glad. I am so glad that all of you are allowing yourself to chill out, relax, and learn to just be present and experience and have fun. That's what I want for all of you. And I'm so glad that you're tuning in and you're letting me know what's happening, because I really, and also the other thing that I really want to ask, if any of you have any questions about anything that I am saying, please ask, because that's what I want. How do I feel more? Marie Bailey, love this. Thank you, Marie. So, how do you feel more? Now some of you may be feeling more shut down or numb. And if you're in that state, know that it's a process to regain connection with your feelings. And usually, what the grounding and breathing, I did this. Thank you. Thanks, Darlene. Thank you. And usually, what happens is that when you're in that shutdown mode, it's because you're not feeling safe to feel. You've gone on overwhelm. If you're feeling numb and you're not even sure what you're feeling, and I'm going to give you an example. Brianna came to me. And when Brianna came, she was pretty numb. I would ask her, how you feeling? And she'd be like, I don't know. I don't know. And she was so numb, she just wasn't able to even feel anything. And that's what she wanted. She wanted to be able to feel. She wanted more peace and to move forward in her life, but she wasn't feeling. And so what happened as we started work together, she really became in touch with the grief. She had shut down her grief. And as she began to express her grief, as she allowed herself to cry, she wasn't even crying. And I am going to tell you, it's okay to cry. It's good to cry. Crying is a great release. Great release. I love crying. Well, not always. Sometimes it's not always so great, but it's also necessary. And sometimes it's like, relief, because what happens is when you let out the feeling in a healthy way, and the way I describe a healthy way is being able to feel. So you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting others, and you're not hurting or destroying the environment. And Jana says, I wish I could cry. Well, what I would say to you is, I want you to know is that it's part of learning how to feel more deeply and feel more connected with yourself. And learning how to cry is really important, because it's moving through that journey of tears to get to a place of relief. A few days ago, I was deep in grief, and me too. Cindy said, me too. I was so deep in grief, and I just was so in it, and I needed to cry. And I cried a lot. I cried for a few days. And I'm thinking to myself, why am I in grief again? Nobody's really died in the last year or so. But you know what? Grief happens, and it comes in waves. And the loved ones that I've lost, then it moves. And that's what was happening for Brianna. She actually was able to start feeling the grief of losing her parents, the grief of losing her brother when she was a teenager. And so as she started feeling the grief, she started having feelings again and moving through the journey to be able to feel. And she started feeling more feelings, and she started feeling more peace. She started feeling more alive. Because what happens when you're in the shutdown or numb zone, you're not always feeling alive. You're kind of feeling numb. And it dulls that aliveness or your passion. And that's why it's so powerful to connect with your feelings. I can't even express enough. So what I would like to know is what happens for you around feelings, because this is such a huge, important piece in connection that I want to really support you. How do you It's so, Marie says, it's so okay to cry. Grief is a journey. You are so right, Marie. You are so right. Grief is a journey. Cindy says, I'm afraid if I start, I won't stop. And so what I want to say to you, Cindy, is give yourself some space, some time. Know that it is a journey. Like Marie said, all feelings are a journey. And very often, if we start feeling, you're not alone. Many people feel like if you start feeling, you're going to never stop. But the truth is, you can learn to take it one step at a time. And I am going to tell you, the place where you feel in shutdown or numb, that is what I call the ego. And your ego is your protective mechanism. So I come from a very psychological, spiritual, intuitive place. And psychologically speaking, your ego will really protect you. And so you may only be able to cry a little bit in the beginning. And you may need support, because sometimes you may need to call for a coach or a counselor or a support group to be able to feel held and supported, to be able to feel the feelings that feel really scary. And I know for me, if I didn't have the support team on this planet, because I feel there's a support team on the planet and our spiritual support team, and connecting to the spiritual support team is really huge too. I'll talk about that very shortly. But on the planet, it's developing and finding your physical support team. So for me, because of the intense trauma that I had, I found a therapist. I found coaches along the way. When I got divorced many years ago, I went to a support group. Now there's support groups, so many support groups. There's support groups in AA and the 12-step programs, and there's also divorced and separated support groups. There's bereavement support groups. So I really encourage you that if you need support in being able to be held, to be supported through your feelings, reach out for support, because that's part of connection too. And Janice says, I don't know how to start. So really, it's learning to become more grounded, because what happens is that when you become more connected and grounded, you start noticing sensations in your body. And when you notice the sensations, and that's how I learned to start feeling even more. I did a lot of body-centered work. So what I began to do is make the connection with my body and breathing and noticing where I was feeling the sensation in my body, so that I could then tune into the feeling, because in our bodies give us clues to what we are feeling. If you're feeling a heaviness, and this is coming from myself and all the clients that I've worked with through the years, if you feel a heaviness in the chest and you're wondering what the heaviness is, very often it might be grief. Now, if you're concerned, go to a doctor. I always say you need to explore the physical too. Doctors are important. But if you feel there's an emotional piece here, the heaviness might be grief. And the grief also, you may feel it in your throat. A lot of times I've had clients and they have this lump in their throat, or they feel the sadness around their eyes. And then it's connecting with those sensations can actually help you start to feel. And as you do, my motto is to really heal, you need to feel. And I have Linda. Hi, Nanci. So excited to be here. You are so inspiring. How do you get past not being able to open up your feelings because you're trying so hard to protect them from getting hurt? Thank you, Linda. And that question is really important. So, part of what happens is when we have been traumatized, and now trauma can be from something when we were a child, or it can be from something that's happening that just recently happened. Like, I'm going to tell you, I'm just saying, I think the world has been traumatized by COVID. But very often, most of us, and I would say a large percentage of us, I don't have the exact statistic today, but I can bring it back to you. How many grew up in families where it wasn't okay to feel? And if you grew up in a family where it wasn't okay to feel, you have learned to shut down. And you have learned to perhaps maybe have a wall around you, or it just doesn't feel safe, like what Linda was asking and Jana. And I want you to know that it is a journey and it is a process. It's not, I wish I could wave a magic wand and make you all better, but I don't have that magic wand. But I do have information and guidance that I'm here to share with you. And it's the beginning. You coming here today, all of you, and I want to thank you so much for joining me. You coming here today is the beginning of you saying, yes, I want an inspired and empowered life. Because the more information you have, the more you know, the more you understand, the more you can make changes in your life, the more awareness that you have, which will help you in your journey. And that's all about connection. Yes, Gen X was raised to bury our feelings. So I am going to tell you it wasn't just Generation X. I believe that it's been every generation. And think about your family and your ancestors. They were so in survival and in the physical survival mode, there was no place for feelings. And so whether you're Generation X, whether you're a millennial, how can I forget those millennials, all you millennials out there? And then there's the baby boomers. And I know there's generations before and generations after, but I'm using those generations. And most of us learned not how to feel. I didn't know how to feel. I was really disconnected. Brianna didn't. And it's a process. And when you're trying to protect yourself, it's natural that you're trying to protect yourself. And it's learning how to feel. Start with feeling safe enough with yourself. And that's where it begins. The connection with yourself. And you don't always have to communicate your feelings to others. Sometimes you need to just allow yourself to feel, and then you can make the decision whether you want to communicate it or not. The most important thing is you find a way to make it safer for you. And again, it's learning how to feel. And Darlene says, especially men. Yes, men have learned to shut down their feelings more, but so have many women. And it's a symptom. And really, I'm going to say it's a symptom of our society. It's totally a symptom of our society. I mean, think about it. Many people are turning to addictions. People are turning to whether it's drugs or alcohol or gambling or something else. We're filled with addictions. Or food. How could I forget food? I mean, I know I've done my share of emotional eating, so been there, done that. And really it's learning how to be able to not reach out for that substance outside of you and learn how to make that deeper connection within. And again, it's process. You're going to hear me talk about this as a process, as a journey, because that's really what it is. Reminding you it is a journey. It's not a destination. And living an inspired and empowered life is one moment, one breath, one feeling at a time. So if you're feeling shut down and you're protecting yourself from feeling, what I would suggest is finding a way to make it safer. Now, one of the ways you might want to try is journaling. That way you're only talking or expressing with yourself. And start journaling. I remember when I was really feeling disconnected from myself, I did journaling a lot. And journaling is a huge way to make that deeper connection. And so that's what I am going to support some of you in doing, or, try it. If you haven't tried it, try it. Instead of reaching for the substance, instead of feeling shut down, start writing and see what happens. Just let it out, let it flow. You don't have to think about it, because if you're thinking, then you're not allowing. You want to allow the flow. You want to allow yourself to be in the flow, be in flow. And that's really a powerful way to help you start. Darlene says, journaling helps me to feel, to heal, and to have ahas. Thank you, Darlene. Definitely. So try journaling. It may be a wonderful way to start yourself to be able to move through your experiences, to be able to help you to start feeling. And remember, you don't have to have a big feeling. Sometimes it may be just tears rolling down your face. And this is what I want you to know. Please remember, it's okay to feel. Feeling is healing. And it's really an important part of connection. The other part of connection is connecting to the higher aspects of ourselves, what I call our higher self. And our higher self is the unconditionally loving and wise part of us that's waiting for us to ask. And also, it's connecting with your soul. I believe that we are here to live inspired and empowered lives. And when we are more connected with our soul, we are living that. We are here to embody our souls. And learning how to embody your soul is huge, making that deeper connection. And then comes the fun part with intuition, is not only connecting to the higher aspects of ourselves, which is lots of fun too, because that's the place. When you're feeling peace, love, and joy, that's when you're connected with your higher self and your soul. And Marie says, I journal every day. Love connecting with me. Thank you, Marie. So glad that you're journaling and that you're connecting with you. And you see how powerful and important it is to be able to do that. And also connecting. Now you can take this. You may just believe in the energy of light, connecting to the light, connecting to love, connecting to angels or spirit guides. They are here to guide you every step of the way. So making that deeper connection will help you to connect more deeply and to learn to live from that intuitive place. So I am going to do an exercise with you. And because I really am going deeply into the things that I am talking about now, we're going to probably continue this with a part 2. But because I want you to be able to have that experience and be able to be in the journey with me. So I'm going to share something called a sentence completion. And this is a technique that I use with clients. And the sentence completion is you're going to complete the sentence. So if you can grab a paper, go grab a paper and bring paper with you when you join the show, because then you can allow yourself to experience the exercises on paper as well. So definitely bring your journals or have a journal, create a journal, because I want to make this interactive and fun and exciting for all of you. So the sentence that I want you to complete, the first one, we're going to do 2 around connection. The first sentence is, I connect. In order to connect more deeply to myself, I need to. In order to connect more deeply to myself, I need to. So take a journal, or you may want to just see what comes to you. Say it to yourself and just see what comes. Allow yourself to speak it. Now, it's not thinking it. This is about allowing the first thoughts, feelings, and emotions that may come to you. In order to connect more deeply to myself, I need to. And see what comes. Allow yourself to see what comes, because this is going to give you clues to what you can do to move more deeply and connect more deeply to you. And what I would love to hear, so I'm going to give you a few minutes. I'm going to keep on talking because I don't want to have dead air time. So you keep going. And in order to connect more deeply to myself, I need to. And you see what comes. And then what I'd love to hear or see is in the chat room, let me know what you were getting, or let me know what came to you, because I really would love to hear what came to you. Again, in order for me to connect more deeply to myself, I need to. What is it that you need to do? What is it that you need to do? So Jana says, spend more time alone. So Jana, thank you for that. And really, it's really important. Alone time is crucial. In order for us to be able to make that deeper connection with us, with ourselves, we need to be able to spend time alone. Because if you're so busy doing for everyone else and you're not giving to yourself, you're feeling that disconnect. And it's really important to be able to give yourself alone time, crucial. And have quiet time in meditation or in nature. But dancing gives it to me too. LOL. Darlene, thank you, Darlene. So, yes, meditation, nature, all important ways of connecting. And dancing is a way to move your body, to connect with your body, to feel your body. Tasia says, I need to do yoga. So, yoga is huge. Being able to do yoga is really a place. And I know Sandy also, Sandy said she grew up where she wasn't allowed to feel like many of us. Allie says, spend more time off of devices. You got it, girl, because I will tell you, what I do when I am doing my alone time, like I take days or weekends where I turn off my cell, turn off the computer. I am in meditation where, or journaling, or just really being quiet with myself. And that is crucial to be able to really make that deeper connection with you. So I really want to hear what else, who else had some other ahas or insights as you did the sentence completion, not completion. Yes, I can talk. Who had some, anybody else? What else do they need to connect? What else do you need to connect to yourself? And I invite you all to love that, a device free, a bit, to take some time to be device free. We all need that in these days of electronics and technology, to turn it off and to go within, to go into nature, to meditate. Whatever it is you're doing, turn off your devices because they are distractions like they were for mine before. I thought I turned it off on Do Not Disturb, but it went through anyway. Anyway, tell me what else. Anybody else have any insights? Okay. And then the second one that I invite you to complete the sentence, to connect more deeply to others. I need to. And Linda said, I do find that being alone and working in my garden helps. That's huge, Linda. Yep. Definitely. That is so huge, to be able to be in nature. Gardening, I know, helps a lot of people. So definitely keep gardening and finding that time alone. And what I invite you to do when you're gardening or when you're in the nature is just to be quiet, quiet your mind, be still and listen. Listen to the guidance. And so back to the other sentence completion. To connect more deeply to others, I need to. To connect more deeply to others, I need to. So, what is it that you need to do to connect more deeply to others? What is it that you need to do to connect more deeply to others? To listen. Thank you, Marie. That is huge. Being able to listen. So often we want to talk and we're not listening. And it goes listening to ourselves and listening to others. Listen is a very important skill in communication. Listening. Thank you, Marie. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, so We are going to continue this next week. Darlene said to be real with them, present, listen, and not multitask. Thank you. That is huge too. So important because it's really being present. And if you're multitasking, you're not being present. So thank you for that. So next week, we are going to continue this exercise and to continue how to connect more deeply and learn the other two principles and the number one mistake that you can make. So this is to be continued next week on W4WN, Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. And I also want to invite you, I have a meditation, inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation. And this meditation I call the intuitive decision-making meditation. And this meditation will help you to work on connecting, going deeper into a quiet space and being able to allow yourself to connect more deeply to you, to listen to your intuitive guidance. And so I look forward to next week, you joining me again on W4WN. You can find past shows on YouTube and on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, on podcasts. And I look forward to connecting with you again for more inspired and empowered living. Have a great one, everybody. Have an inspired and empowered day and an inspired and empowered week. Have a great one. Thank you.